down the hammer and pick up the pencil. You're about to listen to the Savvy Radio Show. Learn from real-life real estate investors, experience revealed with the Savvy Landlord as your host.
Hey, you tuned in to the Savvy Radio Show. I'm excited. You know why? Because I got my homeboy here, Zach Lorenzen, all the way from Norman, USA, Oklahoma. And today we're going to talk about acquisitions in the mobile home park. Ooh. What does that make you feel when I say mobile home park there, Zach?
Anxious.
Nervous? How about pooping in your pants?
A little bit.
Just a little.
Got to get out of your comfort zone, though.
All right, let's dial back in how you acquired this asset. So today's episode is that anything is possible, even when you don't think that you can. And perseverance is the word that comes to my mind. Walk us through how you got the property, how long it took you to get the property. And I'm going to interject some questions like, just throw these out there. How'd you get financing? Was it nerve-wracking? What did you do right? What did you do wrong? And I know this has been a saga for a while, but before we can get into all those cool details, how long have you actually owned it? When did you close the deal?
I believe it was August 27th, into August.
So we're almost in 6 months.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's 4 months.
4 months.
4 months. So right now we're in 2024 December. Christmas is knocking at the door, and you got a good Christmas gift. You got a legacy property that's going to last forever in your portfolio, hopefully. So tell us, how did you get this property? How long you've been working on this property? Give us some details. All
right. I first heard about mobile homes and this property from a good friend, Mitch Dunham.
Mitch Dunham, the Oklahoma Discount Flooring previous owner, not the same guy anymore.
Not the same anymore. Mm-hmm. Going there to buy flooring from him, and he mentored me, talked to me, just hunting, fishing, investing, life. Mentioned this trailer park and gave me a name to go off of. And
okay, hold on. You said a word there that was very powerful. You said mentor. I get that question a lot. How do you get a mentor? Even though I'm a coach, I charge people for, I guess, mentorship. How did you strike a relationship with this individual? How did it happen?
Well, if we go back, the first time I met him was at a Robert Elder event during lunch.
Talking about an investor meetup.
Yeah, an investor meetup on like a random Saturday. And me and him just went for lunch because we didn't really.
Oh, really? So you went to this, it was like a Saturday special thing?
It was a Saturday special. They catered in some vegan food, and me and Mitch were like, you want to go get some meat? So we jumped in my truck, went down the street, and I think we had barbecue sandwiches or something, and just started talking and hit it off. And then,
so this is years ago?
Yeah, And then I come to find out he ended up opening the Oklahoma Discount Flooring, and he's in Norman. So I just followed him there, and I bought all my flooring for all my houses from him. And every time I go in, he would give me advice. We'd just talk, be friends, just be boys. And then,
it's interesting. These guys, Mitch Dunham and Russell Hunt, were partners forever, and they were in real estate just shortly before I did. So I've been in real estate since 1999. I met them the exact same way. I met them when there was the real Oklahoma City RIA, and they had a booth there promoting, and that's where I used to buy all my flooring as well as at Carpet Depot. And Mitch and Russell owned it together. They're this dynamic twin kind of partnership. And, Mitch always was willing to help me. I was a young investor. They were a little ahead of me. And then they got into commercial real estate one day. All right, we're back. Sorry, we had to take a break there with my daughter had a call. It's what it is. It's what happens when you have children. Zach, you are a relatively new dad as well.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. Because your wife was pregnant during this acquisition.
Yes.
Did she deliver before or after the acquisition?
We closed on the 27th. She delivered on September 10th.
27th of August?
August.
So 4 days later.
14.
Same thing. 14 days later.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, back to the original conversation before the phone started blowing me up. I met those guys through the RIA, which I think is very critical that you should join some sort of association of something. And he's always been a helpful guy. I wonder if that's his business model. I
think he's just a genuine dude that truly wants to give back.
I love that you said mentorship. I think that you can't make it in this world without some sort of a friend or mentor, someone you can call.
Yeah, I don't know. We weren't like formal. He's my mentor, but he was my mentor. I took it as mentorship because, he just helped you out.
I mean,
No
I would
strings
call
attached,
those dudes.
just
I would
good
call
dude.
Russell Hunt on when I first started loaning money. I called them because they're both private lenders. They're pretty gangster. But I called them. They always shot me straight. Like, nope. That's. I mean, they just do good business. Just good people.
Yep, good people.
So this guy, Mitch Dunham, he's not even in real estate anymore, which is even more bizarre. He friended you. You friended him. You were buying a ton of material there at his place.
Yep.
And he actually tipped you off to this property?
Yes, we were talking single family, and I think I had 8 or 9 rehabs going. And the conversation was, why are you doing all this work for that when you can do the same amount of work and have
By
a better
one
return?
thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so he pretty much introduced you to commercial real estate,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty
That's
much.
cool. Yeah, I mean, those guys were always, they started out just like us, like normal human beings, and got into commercial.
Yep.
And so he got into also buying a business. He owns a carpet business, so on and so forth. So he gave you the address. So do you remember when you got this address? Did you drive by there? Did he give you the owner's number, or what work did you do here?
He gave me the dude's name.
Okay, so you got the owner of a property, and it's in a different city, right? You could tell Noble.
Yeah,
right?
it's in Noble.
It's in Noble, so which is just how far south is that from Norman?
10, 15 minutes.
So it's a
from where I live.
15-minute drive. So you get this name from a friend, and then what do you do next?
My wife helps me 'cause she's really good at it. We tracked down the guy. He had 3 addresses in Oklahoma City
Okay.
and more, those 2 areas.
So you just got one
So-
person's name. You skip search somehow.
Yep.
I got these 3 addresses.
And I showed up and knocked on the doors, and I got lucky.
Oh, you drove to them.
Yeah.
Play on, player.
I found him on Heather Lane and Moore, and it was weird when I showed up. There was 2 sketchy guys leaving. I walk in the bedroom.
Like a drug dealer?
Yeah. There's a pile of pills on the nightstand.
Was it Viagra?
Doubt it. He was half naked in a bed that was full of mold.
This
Literally,
guy?
if you
The
look,
owner?
Yeah, if you looked at him, I guess he had a car accident or something, but above his ears to about 3/4 above his eyelids and straight across, the whole top quarter of his skull and brain is gone.
Okay, hold on. First of all, this acquisition took several years. We forgot.
Oh, yeah. So let's go back. He told me about it. It took me a few weeks to track this dude down. I find him in his house. Long story short.
So like 3 years ago, you go to this dude's house, you knock on his door. He's just got back out of surgery. His forehead is open wide.
No, it's growing back. He's been like that for years.
What happened to him?
I've heard that he got beat up, and then I heard he got in a car wreck. I don't know the true story, but
Was it because he owned the mobile home park?
No, I
Since
think.
you own it now, you probably know this. Was sketchy down there?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he had. The only reason he had that park was to push drugs.
Oh shucks. Meet that out. All right. So you went there for the first time, and what was the conversation like?
Hey, I see you own this trailer park, and I want to buy it from you.
Just straight big balls.
Just straight up. Like, are you Henry? Yep, I want to buy your trailer park. It's for sale, $500. It's like, well,
So you really got a price out of him right out the gate?
right off the bat, $500. You don't like it, leave. But you could tell he wasn't all there upstairs, and it's not. I didn't. For one, the price was wrong, obviously, and you could also tell like
I don't know. Wait. It's 500,000. How many units is it?
28.
So 28 divided by 500, mathematician. Let's get that going. Keep talking. So what made you think that wasn't the price right at the gate? Because did you already have a price in your mind before you went over there, or how'd you know?
Yes.
Is it because Mitch coached you?
Mitch coached me on it.
20. How many units?
28
So 28
lots.
28 lots divided by 500,000 is 17,000. 18,000 per unit. What's the average rent over there?
At the time, $325.
It's still cash flows. It's 2% rule, roughly 2.75 to be exact. 2.77. Okay. So this guy comes out 3 years ago, roughly. So it took you 3 years to get this acquisition. How did you? So what was the conversation? He gives you 500,000. And what did you say? Did you do the walkaway close that day? Did you give him some pills? I mean, what happened?
No, I kept talking to him. You could tell that he's
not all there.
He's not all there. He can't even take care of himself, much less sell.
So were you worried about a liability here?
I was
if you get another contract?
Yeah, I just didn't want to take advantage of the dude because nothing good comes from when you cheat somebody out of something, right?
Yeah, let's repeat that again. I don't want to take advantage of people. Thank God there's human beings out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So went back to drawing board because this guy, he just wasn't there to sell it, basically, upstairs. Went back to drawing board with my wife. We ended up tracking down calling code enforcement in Noble because we know it had some problems. Talked to somebody up there.
Okay, hold on. What kind of problems?
Dilapidated properties, our trailers. Just it was known as the bad place in town.
Just
that
for
nobody
what
took
reason?
care of. The homeless moved in. They were trashing, like stripping the trailers. The 6 people that lived there, they still live there. Found out towards the end they were paying their rent to the city of Noble to keep the water running.
Because the previous owner took the money and just...
Previous owner had a brother-in-law and somebody else move in collecting quote-unquote rent from new people. He had trailers that he bought 10, 12 years before, never put them in his name, rent them illegally. Okay. Owner financing them people and then never gave him the titles because they never had the titles in his name to begin with.
So
just
are you
straight
scrupulous?
Took advantage of people.
Yeah. So some guy that owned previous owner. So you knew this going in?
No. I knew some of it was going on, but not to the extent until
the only thing you know is a name. You drove over to this dude's house,
a dilapidated property and
a guy that was kind of not all there.
Yes,
and then you found out through the code enforcement that this was.
I was trying to find somebody else that could make the decision for him or power of attorney or something.
Okay, cool. So you escalated it in your mind.
Yes,
you were like, okay, I got to protect myself.
Yes,
because just so you guys know, if you ever do a contract with an older person or someone that's ill, it could be reverse. It could be a criminal act. Mm-hmm. So coaxing someone to sign a contract, basically.
So I called another investor that does stuff down there in Noble. He gave me a contact for code enforcement at the time, which is different now. Called that code enforcement. He couldn't get any traction from the guy that owned it. So he found his sister in the Bay Area of California. So
the guy with the broken forehead.
Yes, his sister. Code enforcement gave me her name and an email address. So I just randomly emailed explaining who I was, CC'd Mitch on the email, so because Mitch knew the guy as well from buying flooring years ago. Anyways, and then got in there, and then...
So you had a relationship now developed with the sister of the injured individual who actually owned the property.
Yes.
Interesting.
And since she was next in line, she was starting to get all the flack from him not doing anything because he was feeble. They couldn't throw him in jail. They couldn't do anything to him. He just... took advantage of those situations.
Nothing was getting done on the property.
Nothing.
It was and the water was jacked up.
Yep.
So what's going on in your mind? This is 3 years ago. Do you remember where you were and how many units? Are you still a young investor? I mean, you've grown relatively quickly.
That was when we had 8 or 9 under contract. I can't remember.
And so you were just now beginning were you retired? I mean, not retired. Were you full time or did you have a job as well?
No, it's full time.
So you're a full time real estate investor. You're trying to find deals. And you're remodeling what you have, and you're probably exercising a bank at that time.
Yep.
Okay. And then you get... So what's driving you? How are you sustaining motivation? Because it seems like every roadblock, the city shuts it down because their hands are tied because it's not in someone else's name. You get an email from some girl in California.
I saw that as a huge problem that nobody has solved yet. So let's solve it.
So this is more of a driver to see if you can get it closed, or were you looking at it?
Well, I was looking at it because
this is $500,000 deal. Because the only thing that you know right now, I mean, I'm assuming at this time you really didn't order an appraisal.
Nope.
You can't really pull comps.
Nope.
Right. I mean, because it's all mobile home parks are just very unique. So they're not comparable in my mind. That's just me.
I was going off the advice other people have told me, like, hey, it's a deal at this if you can do this.
What was those numbers? So even though you heard the 500,000, I'm still stuck on the 500,000 that you didn't think that was a deal. Because right now, 500,000 is 17.
Well, it sounds like a deal if all 28 lots were rented out and it was cash flowing, but it wasn't that.
So through your due diligence and through your connections, you figured that you need to buy it at a different number, or it used to be a wholesaler, and you've done over 200 transactions. If you don't know what Zach Lorenzen, you just figured him out. So he's been a wholesaler for a long time, done over 250 transactions. So you're probably familiar with comping things, and so you, in your mind, you're like, whatever number someone throws out, 500, you're trying to get it for 50, 60%. Is that what you were thinking?
Well, not just the number they threw out, but also going off of, like Mitch was telling me, he's got a lot of experience in mobile home park stuff too. He said,
and he had a bunch of units, like 500.
If you can get it around this price, you've got a home run. So,
and what was that price?
$250.
Okay,
$225 or $250 back then.
So 3 years ago, you get one. So it's 50
this.
cents on the dollar, roughly, and then you get an email to this girl in California. So did she respond to the email?
Yeah. Like,
What did
who
she
are
say?
you? Basically, who are you and what's going on? Like, why are you
Contacting
She
me?
thought I was just trying to take advantage of her brother. So,
Did you get a phone number?
yes, she called me and we had a conversation, and I told her, look, the reason I contacted you, and this is how I contacted you, is because of this. She didn't realize. So he was in a bed on a mattress.
Basically in coma.
No, he was fully functioning, kind of. He was in a fetal position in a diaper that was soiled. The bed was black because of all the mold and stuff around him, and it hadn't bathed or moved in
Did you
probably
take a picture of this?
3 weeks. No, I didn't want to even get my phone out.
It's
So
almost like
I
the
told her
Saw
what was
movie.
going on. So she ended up getting like a home health worker in there to get him cleaned up and checking on him
Oh,
after
cool.
that. 'Cause
So
she
you
didn't
actually
know-
did something
She
positive
didn't know
here.
the extent of his
Illness
or his situation. Yes.
So, Jinx. So let me get this straight. You kind of like a Robin Hood here. You catch. So we maybe saved the guy's life. I mean, if you had that kind of mold, if it's really mold of what you're saying,
It was
and the bacteria that you're saying, her own sister didn't know. People were taking advantage of it. The two sketchy dudes were running out, and there's a bunch of pills. Mm-hmm. So people weren't caring. They were taking. They weren't giving. And so you tipped the gal off, the sister, and she went into overdrive and got him in better care.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for you, that God only knows what could have happened to this cat. I'm just saying. All these things play into something. All right. So then what happened? So how long did that last? So that was was this like 2 weeks and delays and
This
times?
was a month and a half going back and forth, and then she could not convince him to sell the property
And why wouldn't the guy sell?
because now the property is worth $750. Every time you talked to him, it was a different number. It was all over 500, but it was always a different number. So that's what I'm saying. You couldn't really.
Why didn't you give up? I mean, you would give up now, right? Because all the pain you've died. I'm just saying.
No, it's too
If
far
I give
to
you
up now.
$300,000 right now, cash.
No. I don't know. I just wanted to get
Figure it
another
out?
asset and, figure it out. It's another challenge to figure out.
So if you're a rookie real estate individual or want to get in the game or even be an entrepreneur, it's about solving problems. It truly is. Wealth is created by someone has a problem. Everybody has a need. I have a distressed property, or I'm divorced, or something's going on. And what do? You solve their problem.
Yep.
But this guy, he didn't have a problem in his mind.
No.
Because the price changed. When the prices change, it usually is they're not motivated. He threw out 500. You didn't really flinch. He probably was like, I can get more. Then my sister's calling, so now it's a desirable property. How did the negotiations go?
So it was basically he doesn't want to sell it, so I left it alone. And then every
For
holiday,
months? Oh, for months.
for months, every holiday, I would check in just randomly. I'd check in with his sister. Hey, how's he doing? Do I need to drive by his house, check on him? Is everything good? That type of thing. Merry Christmas, happy birthday. I found out both their birthdays. Email him every birthday, text her, ask him how he's doing.
Sounds like a salesman here.
Long story short, 3.5 years later, I get an email. Hey, my
From the
brother.
girl?
Yeah, my brother's selling the property. Someone gave him a cash offer, but I told you back when you emailed me that I would let you know so you can get an offer in.
Awesome. So
if you want to buy the property.
your
still.
genuineness or authenticity. Also, you have an exterior motive. I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. You want to buy the property. You were upfront from Jump Street. Mm-hmm. So she obviously admired your candor or your honesty and like, hey, and then she remembered you 3 years later to email you.
Yeah.
She didn't have to.
No.
Or was she like trying to get more money?
No, she told her exact words were, I'd have to pull up the email, so maybe not her exact words.
Let's pull that up.
But it was, hey, I know you want this property, and I told you if I can ever get Henry to sell it, that I would let you get an offer in and get a chance of buying it. Well, he's to the point of selling it now. Caveat is he has his brother's ex-wife's from 10 years ago's a realtor. Everybody's a realtor, and realtors are expert in real estate. So she's doing the transaction. So
man,
that started a whole nother can of worms. I don't know if we need to podcast.
Oh no,
we're
we're gonna end right here because people's attention spans are a little wild.
So long story short, we got the property.
Well, yeah, obviously we got the property, but we're not going to get into more of the details. We're going to keep this a cliffhanger.
There you
Yep,
go.
Jinx. So, okay, so this girl sends you a heads up. Now, during this negotiations, someone else was super interested in the property too.
Yes.
And you were bidding against someone else in essence.
Yes, they own the property near it.
And they got wind of it. Do you know how they got wind of the property for sale? Because it never hit any kind of multi-listing.
The new code enforcement took over and was doing anything she could to get the problem solved.
I forgot about this. So this gal, the city of Noble, not a gal per se, but the city, this was an eyesore for the city of Noble. It was not taken care of. The water bill wasn't being paid. The city was taking care of it.
River people from Norman, homeless, moved down the river, jumped the fences, and
Was
squatted
camping
in
out
it.
there. And
And
so
so
you-
just causing problems, starting fires, stealing stuff from the city. It's all on this property. It's just
This was like, if they could fix anything,
if they could have burned it down, they probably would have.
interesting.
That's how bad they were.
So we're going to pick up here on the next episode on the level of negotiations, the competition between the two. How's that?
Sure.
All right. Well, anyway, hey, if you hear this podcast and the second release hasn't come out yet and you want to know more details, text us, go to the website, savvyinvestors.com. There should be a phone number or fill out a form. We let the cat out of the bag, but not on this episode. So see you later, alligator.
Thanks for listening to the Savvy Radio Show. Glide online and listen to our other motivating episodes at savvyradioshow.com. Connect on Twitter at LandlordBook and always be buying assets.